Yo guys, what is up? I hope you're all doing great. Welcome to yet another interview on my channel. This time around, we're gonna talk to another awesome YouTuber. I feel like this is like a pattern on this channel. We only talk to awesome YouTubers. We'll talk to Alex, who is a YouTuber based in Indonesia. He's actually currently in Jakarta, which I find super interesting because I feel like Jakarta is one of these places that doesn't really get a lot of coverage on social media. So Alex will tell us what it is like to live in Jakarta. Is it a safe place? We will also talk about his advice for aspiring content creators, about how much money you need saved up if you want to travel full-time for a whole year. So let's get into the video.
Hi, how are you?
Hey, what's up? How are you doing?
Thank you so much, first of all, for finding time to do it.
Yeah, no problem.
What time is it over there? It's 5 o'clock already, right?
Yeah, it's already 5 o'clock.
Let's start by maybe if you could like introduce yourself and say a couple of things about yourself, what you do.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, my name's Alexander. Go by Alex. I was born in Kiev, Ukraine, and me and my mom actually immigrated to the United States when I was 6 years old. So basically, I've been living in the United States for, I don't know, 20 some years almost. And yeah, went to college, graduated with like a health degree, but found out that had a passion for photography and video creating rather than health. So I kind of went out to pursue that instead. And yeah, I've been doing a lot of like client work in the US with videography. And then eventually I just decided that I want to use my camera and my videography skills for myself. And I started to find or research ways for me to travel and go abroad and create videos abroad instead of back home in the US.
That's interesting. I didn't know that you have a health degree, so you're basically not using it anymore.
Yeah, I don't really use that very often. So yeah, it's mostly a video camera nowadays.
I mean, typical. I mean, more and more typical.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, I am sort of ish using my degree, but still, I feel like I spent 6 years at uni, and considering the fact how long it was, it feels like little useless at this point, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, I started with my health major like 2 years in, and within 2 years, I realized, that's not really what I was passionate about. And at that time, I was already picking up a camera and doing video client work for people, but I was already halfway into my major, so I couldn't quit then. So I just continued on and kept on doing videography and photography as my side thing, basically.
Okay, so you're basically more like professional. I mean, not only YouTuber, obviously, which makes sense because your vlogs are so well made. Like, I love your vlogs. I've been watching a lot lately. How did it happen that you like started traveling full time? Because that's what you do right now, right? You basically travel.
Yeah.
You moved abroad. I mean, nowadays it's not really travel. You moved to Indonesia, right?
So about 2 years ago, so December of 2018, I graduated college and I decided that I was going to move abroad to Vietnam immediately, like within 3 weeks of graduating college. And so I set out to move to Vietnam so I could teach English abroad, because from my research, that was probably the easiest way for me to live abroad in another country. So yeah, I set out with like $2,000-3,000 in my bank account and moved to Vietnam, got certified to teach English within a month, and immediately started working with a school there, an English center. And I worked as an English teacher in classroom with students in Vietnam for roughly about 8 or 9 months. And at that point, I figured I wanted to travel a little more because working in classroom kind of prevented me from traveling as much as I wanted to, even though it was an absolutely amazing experience. And I had, a great income from living in Vietnam and working there. But I definitely wanted to travel a little bit more. So I moved to Bali and, living there for 5-6 months.
We're in Vietnam.
Oh, I lived in Ho Chi Minh City.
It's a crazy city.
Yeah, it really is. And, it's funny now that I'm in Jakarta for a month and all the locals are like, oh, be careful with all the traffic and be careful just living here in Jakarta. But, I lived in Vietnam for almost a year and the traffic there is pretty crazy. And, I survived it there and I managed to. So, but yeah, I mean, I moved to Bali about, I don't even remember when, like in almost 2020, so just before the pandemic began. And I was there for basically like 4 or 5 months, living there until the whole pandemic began. And by that point, I decided the easiest thing would be to move back to the US just for a little bit, because of not knowing what was going to be happening with the visa situation in Indonesia at the time. So just moved back home and saved my money until I started traveling again.
Are you happy that you chose Indonesia for this time?
Yes, because I mean, originally it wasn't the plan to move here because um, when I moved back home to the US this past year in 2020 during the pandemic, the goal was basically to save enough money for the next, 6, 7 months, however long I was going to be in the United States, just to save enough to where I could travel full time for 1 year without having to worry about any sort of income coming in.
Approximately, how much do you think you need to save up to travel? I mean, of course, I know it depends, but I like how you said that you moved to Vietnam with like $2,000-3,000, because I feel like a lot of the time people don't really talk. I mean, some YouTubers do, some people do, but some people don't, and some people like sort of paint this picture of like, I moved to whatever with nothing, and then the reality is that like, come on, like you had to.
Yeah, exactly.
For some
Yeah,
people, nothing is $3,000, but for some people, $4,000, that's not nothing,
Exactly. It really depends from person to person. And I'm really open about that with all my expenses when I travel. But moving abroad, I knew that I would at least want to have about $1,000 a month for budgeting wise. Sorry, my phone went off. But yeah, I figured that with $1,000 living in Southeast Asia, I could live comfortably enough to where I wasn't, counting my dollars basically every single day. Even though I still keep track of every expense that I do just for myself and for, making monthly cost of living videos. I think about $1,000 is what you should have at least, at minimum per month, because, there's always going to be expenses that come up that you just don't prepare for. And yeah, and with that, that really doesn't even take into account your flights or your visas or your like health insurance, stuff like that. That's just, your basic stuff like rent, paying for food costs, your transportation costs, just basic stuff that you need to live abroad.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so you decided to move to Bali, and as I said, I watched your Bali vlogs. I love them. And you went to Jakarta, and that's what I got like super interested, because I feel like not many people go to Jakarta at all, and I've always been really interested in Jakarta. Like I love these crazy big Asian cities. I used to live in Bangkok.
It actually came from me kind of missing Vietnam a little bit because, I'd lived in Indonesia for, I don't know, almost a year and a half at this point, moving back and forth, traveling back and forth between Indonesia and other countries that I've been to. But I'm usually in a really warm climate where there's beaches, there's, beach clubs, and I was kind of missing the big city life, so to speak. That's something I really enjoyed living in Vietnam and Ho Chi Minh City, and I kind of missed that a little bit. So I felt that when I was doing some research on Jakarta, there really aren't that many people that cover Jakarta. They fly into Indonesia and they immediately book a flight to straight to Bali, and nobody really covers the big city life, what it's like to live in Jakarta, what's there to do, because everybody just thinks, oh, it's a business capital, and it is. There's a lot of banks and a lot of people moving here for business, but it's really cool to see the tiny alleyways in Jakarta and go out and get street food. And that's something I'm really trying to cover, is just, what can you actually do here besides, going to nice fancy restaurants or, walking around exploring the big city life. So that was kind of the goal, because nobody had really covered it too much into depth. Even, looking back at like the last monthly cost of living video, it's almost 2 years ago that somebody had posted one. And, I felt that was an opportunity for me to take. basically, to move out here and cover it a little more.
I've been to Indonesia twice already, and I've never been anywhere else outside of Bali. I mean, Lombok, but that doesn't count because
Yeah.
so close.
Yeah.
But the number one concern that I would maybe have is safety. So what would you say about that? I know it's a big city. You can never say that a big city is safe, but
Right.
what do you feel about safety in Jakarta?
No matter what country you visit, safety is always a concern, and it's really gonna differ from, you know, a male's perspective compared to a female's perspective. But for myself, you know, moving here, that was like the first thing, you know, Indonesians were telling me, like, oh, be careful with police, be careful with motorbikes, be careful with traffic and crime. But, you know, it's no matter where you go, you kind of have to worry about that. And if you worry about it too much, you're not really going to enjoy your time there. But from the first week and a half almost now living here, you know, everybody's been really welcoming, really helpful. I've been getting so many messages from, you know, locals living here. It's like, hey, if you need any help, if you need any recommendations, just feel free to reach out. So everybody's really helpful. Even me doing the public transportation video here in Jakarta, trying to figure that out, you know, not that many people speak English here, at least in the area that I'm at. So I have to use a lot of Google Translate, but, you know, people are willing to help if you just ask. And that's really what I've found out. But as far as, you know, safety, there hasn't really been a time where I felt that I was unsafe. I'm living though in a kind of nice area though, so I'm not really sure because I haven't really got to explore as much as like the alleyways, so to speak. But hopefully I'll get to explore more of like the eastern side and the western side of Jakarta, because on the outskirts of the city is, you know, where people actually live that can't afford to live here in downtown in the big city.
Do you think that Jakarta has potential to become like more of a touristy city like Bangkok or Ho Chi Minh?
Absolutely. It's building up their public transportation system. Their new metro system is so nice. I was super impressed by that. If you go down to South Jakarta, even Central Jakarta, they have beautiful parks, beautiful cafes and restaurants. There's things to do. You just have to actually look for it and know what you want to do. Obviously, the big city life isn't for everybody. And, you know, people are going to come to Southeast Asia. They're going to be searching for the beautiful beaches, the palm trees, and, you know, the Instagram spots. But as I say, you know, big city life isn't for everybody. But for me, I love it. I enjoy both visiting islands and big cities, and that's something for me. So it really just depends on what your style is and what you're looking for when you're traveling.
Yeah, and what your expectations are.
Yeah, you kind of have to go in it with a good mindset, basically.
You know, like one of my favorite travel experiences in Southeast Asia was Manila, actually. Obviously, yeah, Philippines.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, I was there for only 2 days. It was not long. It's not the best place to spend like 2 weeks or whatever, longer time.
Right.
Just a couple of days to see what is it like. I thought it was super cool.
Yeah, I think even Jakarta, like if you're just flying in and you plan on going to Bali, even if you just spend a few days, it'd be better than not spending any time here. At least you should definitely spend a couple days, just so you have at least an idea of what the life is like here.
Yeah, I think Jakarta, like Manila, are one of these cities where people don't even know what to expect. You know, I spent a couple of years living in Asia, and still I have like almost no picture in my mind of what Jakarta looks like. What is the architecture like? Like, what are the streets like? When I was watching your vlog, I was like, oh, it actually looks kind of similar-ish to Bangkok. Well, obviously it's not that far, but you know, it's like one of these cities that you don't see in movies and on social media or whatever. So you don't even know what it looks like.
Yeah, that's very true. I never really looked at it that way either, but you're pretty much dead on.
So are you planning to come back to Bali after Jakarta?
The plan is to stay here until the end of March, and then I really don't have too many plans aside from I want to go visit the Komodo Islands, because that's one place that's been on my list for quite a long time, since visiting Bali, and as well as Raja and Pot, but that's going to be expensive. So just trying to plan it all correctly and seeing what I can do there and how to get there specifically.
What would be your advice to like aspiring content creators? Like, as I said, I think your vlogs are so professional, so beautifully edited. And also you have that professional background of working for clients. So yeah, what would be your advice to people who, you know, want to start on YouTube or just in general?
I think best is just figure out what you're passionate about, and you know, if you plan on making YouTube videos, start somewhere, learning from a YouTuber, or just start learning how to edit yourself, and either start working for clients. Like, it depends, because for me at the beginning when I started doing videography, I knew I wanted to work for like a big company and become their, you know, marketing videographer, and have a nice salary and have benefits and just work like a 9 to 5 where I just go in every day and make videos. And at that time, I thought that's what I wanted. But, you know, after trying that out somewhat and working for an entire year just making videos for clients, I found that that's not really what I wanted, because I just felt like I was getting burnt out. I was, you know, doing the same thing every single day, you know, not basically morning to evening. But I think now what's different is that I do want to make 2 videos a week. That's always my goal. But I don't set myself like, oh, this is my job. I need to wake up today. I need to always have a video out on this day and this time. Because if you do that, you're gonna feel like this is a job basically, and this is not what you want. Because I enjoy my life. I enjoy traveling, and making videos is just something that keeps me passionate with traveling. And, you know, if I miss a day uploading, it's not the end of the world. So it's just about, you know, what exactly are you looking for in creating and making videos? Is it, you know, working for a big company where you're feeling secure, or is it, you know, seeing the world and meeting new people and having different travel experiences, even though you might not be making the same amount of money, but you know, you're getting to explore the world and meet new people and explore different cultures.
Well, thank you so much. It was super interesting.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for having me.
And good luck with everything. I hope you'll be able to see more of Indonesia. I'm excited for the vlogs. I'll be watching.
Thanks a lot.
Getting very jealous.
Really appreciate it.
If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to my channel and don't forget to turn the notification on so you know when I upload a new video. And of course, check out Alex's channel. As I said, he makes amazing, very high quality travel vlogs. And also let me know who's the next awesome YouTuber I should talk to. And I hopefully see you soon. Bye.